Hi folks. The idea for today's character build came straight out of the comments from our viewers on this short that we released a few weeks ago.
Do you have an idea for a unique character and want to know what it would look like in Altered World? Let us know, and we'll build it for you.
We asked for it and you delivered. Thank you to everyone who commented on that short. Feel free to keep more of those coming. We thought we'd open up this with the disgraced Gnoll Samurai General. Hi, my name is Travis, and I'm one of the developers and designers of Altered World, a new science fantasy TTRPG that finally lets you answer the question, what if the bad guys were good guys and the real monsters were the ones living within our darkest hearts? Fair warning to all of our wonderful viewers, Seth wrote most of this episode, so if anything sounds too unhinged, blame him. So what exactly are Gnolls? They're not part of Altered World, but in D&D lore, they're officially very grumpy, demonic, hyena things. Really, Seth? Are you sure that you want me to read this? Okay. If you disagree with me, fight me in the comments, nerds. So with that out of the way, what do we know about Gnolls? They're tall, they're bitey, and they're kind of mobile. They appear as monsters in the core game, but if you buy the right source book, you can play them as a species, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your general opinion of source books. So, can we do this in Altered World? Yes. Yes, we can. Can we do it better than D&D? We'd like to think so. So, because Gnolls aren't part of the Altered World game, we need to build them around something. We could get into all the rules about how to create a race, species, monster, playable thing in Altered World, but Seth really wanted me to insert a dank meme from the age of 2012, and I convinced him otherwise. Seeing what he came up with instead, the meme might have been better. Man, I feel really dumb saying this. Are you sure? No cap. Taking the time to go through all that is big yikes. So we'll just keep things nice and simple at this stage and reskin an orc. We're going to have to adjust it a bit, but this will give us some good bones to build on. Here's what we get with a standard orc species character in Altered World. As you can see, they get us close to Gnoll territory already. They've got fangs and they've got thermal vision. So now let's make a few modifications to make them a little stronger, maybe a little faster, but perhaps not quite as studious. Once we've done that, we end up with this. There we have an Altered World Gnoll. They're tall, bitey, and just a little bit antisocial. Species traits are where we can do a lot of work to make them different from the orcs we built them from. And so we get rid of the resistance to mage spells and reduce military tactics a little bit, and then add mistrust, because they don't usually mesh well with polite society. Voila! A legally distinct and totally not copyright infringing Gnoll. Any resemblance to intellectual property belonging to another game company is purely coincidental and for entertainment purposes only. Don't blame us. At Bloodsham and Pixel made us do it. Okay, that's good enough. Now, we have to turn this from a generic Gnoll into a samurai warrior, leading us to ask, what even is a samurai? This is exactly the kind of question that is super bold to put out on the internet. And for the record, I'm supposed to cut in that same meme from 2012, and I'm still not going to do it. We don't need to dive headlong into an in-depth discussion of the social structures of feudal Japan. Let's just agree that what we want is someone who is an expert with a katana and knows their way around a battlefield. That's something we can build. Altered World uses a full point-buy character creation process, and so we have to keep track of our character creation points, or CCPs, as we work through our build. We're going to start with 15 CCPs, and then the Gnoll species itself will cost us 2 of those. If we want to max out this character's primary attributes, that's going to cost us another 4.2 CCPs. But if we do that, then we're going to have to trim some things back. So we're going to start this at 3.8. That gets us these primary attributes. The secondary attributes for the character get calculated from the primary ones, and so you don't have to spend any more points on it. Yay, free stuff! That gets us these. These are some good numbers. The character is going to be lethal, fast, and dialed in. You may have noticed that combat is annotated as 6+2. That's because of an advantage that we're going to give this character. If you're used to D&D, advantages work a lot like feats. We're spending 3.5 CCPs on advantages to get the following. We get skilled in combat at rating 2. This guy lives to fight and has fought for a living for many years. He knows what he's doing. We're going to buy 3 additional extra menial actions, which are going to stack on top of the 2 extra automatic actions they get as a species trait for being a Gnoll.
Must have ripped the Q section out of my dictionary, because I don't know the meaning of the word quit.
Then we give the character reflex nerve to make their normal strike with a sword a menial action instead of an easy action. They're going to be faster with that blade. And then throw in some hidden focus so he does extra good anytime he rolls doubles. If you want to check out a video that we have about hidden focus, it's pretty cool. You can look here. And I think Val seems kind of samurai-ish to me, so we'll give him that. We're going to want to make this character hard to kill, so let's give him toughness against chances of death at rating 1. It's expensive, but it gives us the grit and ruggedness of a veteran warrior. Okay, we can't have all this without taking on a few drawbacks. Drawbacks are a little bit like negative feats. This video from Mystic Arts, if you haven't seen it, go watch it and we'll come back. Dadi talks about the idea of giving your character enough knives for the game master to use against you in their backstory. It's knife theory. You can think of drawbacks as something similar to that, but these are things that are important enough for you that you want them to have mechanical teeth in the game. Plus, you get some additional points for taking them. I can go nuts with these, but I'm going to follow a guideline I recommended a while back and keep this capped at 2 CCPs. With that in mind, here we go. We have Dark Past 3 and Nemesis 7. For those of you playing along at home, this is where you start filling in the blanks. Maybe he was betrayed by a rival, and he became scapegoated by the royal court, or he was framed for a military defeat. Pick whatever fits the story that's being told at your table. The point is he's disgraced, and somebody powerful wants him gone. We're going to round that out by giving him impaired in both smell and hearing. What can I say? Old soldiers have issues. If you can't hear me, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Before we move into talents, we're going to take a look at aura and some of the other things you can buy in the extras category. This character was a general, so he's been around a while. The best way to demonstrate that is by giving him a high aura. This is Altered World. You don't have to start at level 1. You can build your character and give them a backstory that would represent somebody who's been around a while. I'd like to take a moment to disavow the responsibility for the rest of this paragraph. Your character doesn't have to be some fresh out of nowhere geek with no history. We used to call this level, but some of our playtesters found it confusing because it's just not the same thing as level in any other game. So we got hip, and now it's aura. This guy is level 11. I mean, aura 11, whatever. Aura costs a lot. That alone is going to cost us 3.3 CCPs. Wait, we haven't checked in on them in a minute. It's going to be 2 for species, 3.8 for primary attributes, 3.5 for advantages, 3.3 for aura, and -2 for drawbacks. That's all pretty expensive, and we haven't even gotten to talents yet. We're going to end up having to make some sacrifices. So this character is only going to have an interaction of 3, and his wealth is only going to come in at 750 bones. That's not a lot of money. And that puts us at 11.6 CCP so far. Now for talents, the core of an Altered World character. We're going to take 2 professional packs. Each of these will give us 5 talents for a total of 10, and we get a bit of a discount, which is good because we're on a budget. Right off the bat, we know we want the Martial Artist Pro Pack because, duh, Samurai. This is going to give us the talents Unarmed Combat at 5, Athletics at 4, Gymnastics at 3, Projectile Weapons at 2, and Exotic Weapons at 1. Our disgraced general is going to be putting up some pretty good numbers fighting with just his claws and his teeth. And he should be mobile and able to get around. This is a character who's old but still spry, I think. And sometimes samurai dues and archery stuff, so he's got that covered. Next, we're going to take the Mercenary Pro Pack, which gives us these talents. Sneak at rating 5, Gunnery at 4, Sidearms at 3, Negotiation at 2, and Throwing at rating 1. I hear you saying, a samurai with a gun? Yeah, man, this is Altered World. If you want to see some more of our thoughts about mixing sword and sorcery and tech, you can check out this video called Not Back Then over there. We talk about our philosophies there. But you can join in the comments there and tell us why Gnolls shouldn't have access to guns. I'm supposed to tell you we're going to wait for that, but we're not. I'm moving on. So the one thing we haven't addressed is that we said he should be good with a sword, and that's not covered by any talent he's got. Don't worry, we've got something special for you here. In order to reflect the level of competence, experience, and readiness to kind of throw down we expect, this character should have a rating of at least 6. So that's where we're going to start him out. But wait, here's the fun part. We're going to link this talent to his level. Aura. If you'd like to see a video about the mechanics of how linking something to your aura works in the Altered World system, just let us know in the comments and we'll make it for you because it's kind of neat. But for now, suffice it to say that what we've done is we've boosted this character's ability to kind of wreak havoc with a katana by a lot. It's expensive, and that makes it pretty much we're out of points. So what we sit with is there's a glaring hole in this guy's repertoire, which is that we don't have enough points to afford to give him leadership or much else to justify the idea that he's a general, just beyond the fact that he's fairly respectable in military tactics, which also is linked to his aura, by the way. I'm sure you can work around that. If you really wanted to invest a few points into leadership, you could shave off a few of his advantages or leave the archaic weapons talent at just plain old rating 6, no longer linked to aura. This is actually where Seth and I approach this character a little differently. The character that Seth built is a bit of a combat monster, but not super useful in situations that can't be solved with a blade. I personally would tone the aura down a bit, maybe take it to like 7, and use those points to get a third professional pack. Politician would be a good choice. This gives the character some social abilities, such as leadership, and it also leaves me with another 0.2 CCPs sitting around, so I'd probably just use that to raise his interaction up to rating 4. Either way, there you have it. This is a fairly fast and easy Gnoll Samurai General character that you can fill out the blanks as to why he's been disgraced. As far as the idea of him having flashy armor, we've got you covered. The Altered World setting has a few different brands of equipment that offer different flavors. Like Kusagama is right up this character's alley. It's flashy and intimidating on the battlefield and should be within reach cost-wise. We'd like to thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you like what you see, consider liking and subscribing, or just check out some of our other videos. That would help too. You can pick up our free quick start or join our Discord at the links that are down in the description for this video. We've also included a link to a downloadable character sheet for this Gnoll Samurai build, so you can play this character in the adventure that's included with our quick start. We'd like to give special thanks to Reddit user HazelWolf1 for giving us permission to use their artwork of a Gnoll Samurai for this character. We've got one final note before we go. We wanted to let you know that we'll be participating in this year's Dungeon Jam. This is a cross-channel event where Dungeon Tubers produce adventures based on the 5-room dungeon format and then release videos about them all during the same week. This year, that's the week of May 25th. Everything ends up on one big playlist so you can find tons of great content for your games all in one place. We're going to be releasing 2 modules that week. The first is a D&D 5e adventure set in an Arctic environment. It's campaign setting agnostic, so you can slot it into any game world you're playing in. The second is an Altered World specific adventure that continues our Learn to Play campaign. It will stack on top of or even replace the adventure that comes with the Beer and Pretzels kit and features Linda, our favorite combat Cuisinart. All right, I'll say it. Give me a break. And of course, you can always drop a comment and tell us how beautiful we are and how much it distracts from what we're saying. Thanks again for watching, and remember, until next time, keep your world altered.